graduate with Google?
What do you mean?
Did you graduate with the internet?
No.
Shut up.
Why?
I'm making a documentary.
Oh. Yes!
Yes.
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 I haven't graduated.
So, did you graduate with Google?
Oh yeah. I have a PhD in Googling.
Well, I didn't really have a computer until after I graduated high school.
I suppose so. You know, Google's like a state of mind.
And how did the internet help or hinder your academic experience?
Well, it hindered it because I can't get off Tumblr to save my life.
I think it's helped me by allowing me to look up answers, and not necessarily just look up answers, but find information to help back up my ideas.
Google everything else, so it's like instead of going to a library, you can find everything that you want on the internet.
I don't have to go to the library and deal with the library shenanigans. You just put in keywords and then pops up an article. So it helps out a lot.
In a terrible way. For the most part. I mean, it's something I can't, like, really do assignments without.
I definitely used, you know, like Google Translate and stuff a lot for foreign language classes.
Do you think that helped you or inhibited you from learning?
Probably inhibited me, but it definitely helped me get assignments done quickly.
Internet is just too much, and you find too many random, ridiculous things.
Yeah, but there's also so much shit. Like, how do you choose one?
Right now, I am struggling trying to finish this project for my animation and communication class. We have to use a program called DAZ Studio, but it's only available in a lab in the basement of Canuti Hall. But they just closed the lab, and this is due tomorrow, so I'm having a really difficult time figuring out where to do it. So, yeah, so it's definitely something. I guess that would be dependence. I'm dependent on it, and I'm not really happy being dependent on it. Well, I think I would have not gotten this far in college, because I can tell you what, I did not read a lot of the texts that I was supposed to read, so,
Spoken like a true Englishman.
yeah.
Technology is cool. Over-reliance on it is not really something that we need to do, but yeah, it can be helpful if properly harnessed in education.
It's a climb. Technology is booming in America, so is the need for higher education and the debt to get there. But we don't really know how to use the technology that we've been given. It's without a doubt we're one of the most interconnected generations ever. But how do we find that information? How do we find each other? And how do we even know that the information that we're finding is the right source?
Just who gets the benefits of this bill? Any veteran, male or female, with more than 3
The
months
1944
active
GI Bill of Rights was officially known as the Servicemen's Readjustment Act of 1944 and was signed by FDR on June 22nd. Some 7.8 million World War II veterans took advantage of the GI Bill during the 7 years benefits were offered, and more than 2 million attended colleges or universities, nearly doubling the college population. About 238,000 of them became teachers, and because the law provided the same opportunity to every veteran, regardless of their background, the long-standing tradition that a college education was only for the wealthy was finally broken.
up to a limit of 52 weeks.
World War II ended on August 15th, 1945 with victory over Japan, and 1 minute after midnight on January 1st, Kathleen Casey Kirschling was born in 1946, the first of nearly 78 million baby boomers, beginning a generation that resulted in unprecedented school population growth and massive social change. Kathleen even became a teacher.
Gives you an appetite, so join us in a picnic.
The ENIAC
The computer age begins as the Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer, also known as ENIAC, the first vacuum tube computer, was built for the U.S. military by Presper Eckert and John Mauchly. The ACT test was administered about a decade later, and Newsweek's December 8th cover story, Why Can't Johnny Write?, heated up a debate about national literacy and gave impetus to the Back to the Basics movement as narrated in this wonderful song, Why Can't Johnny Read?
Johnny can't read. Summer is over and he's gone to feed. You know that Johnny can't read. Never learn nothing that he ever need. Well, is it teacher's fault? Oh no. Is it mommy's fault? Oh no. Is it society's fault? Oh no. Well, is it Johnny's fault? Oh no.
Microsoft Windows 1, the first independent version of Windows, was released in 1985. The Smartboard Interactive Whiteboard was introduced by Smart Technologies in 1991, 2 years after the University of Phoenix established their first online campus. In 1998, Google co-founders Larry Page and Sergey Brin set up their workplace for a newly incorporated search engine in Menlo Park, California garage. The controversial No Child Left Behind Act was approved by Congress and signed into law by President George W. Bush on January 8, 2002. The law, which reauthorized the ESEA of 1965 and replaced the Bilingual Education Act of 1968, mandated high-stakes student testing, hold schools accountable for student achievement levels, and provided penalties for schools that did not make yearly progress towards meeting the goals of NCLB.
Every child can learn and measure to see if we're getting results. And Congress need not weaken such a good piece of legislation.
But it didn't work exactly.
And I want to end the unfunded mandate known as No Child Left Behind, which I do not believe is working. There are better ways. There are better ways to have a partnership with the federal government.
The American Reinvestment and Recovery Act of 2009 provided more than $90 billion for education, nearly half of which went to local school districts to prevent layoffs and for school modernization and repair. It included the Race to the Top initiative, a $4.35 billion program designed to induce reform in K-12 education.
Our whole economic rebound is dependent upon these artificially derived low interest rates, courtesy of the Federal Reserve.
With the U.S. economy mired in the Great Recession and unemployment remaining high in 2010, states had massive budget deficits and many teachers faced layoffs.
Range on the Fed funds target rate for 17 months. When has that not failed to produce inflation? It will do so again, sending interest rates higher, and the amount of Treasury debt we're selling is unsustainable. The interest expense will put us in an extreme level of duress.
And one of the things we're going to be talking about is education. I think everybody understands it is the key to success for our kids in the 21st century. But what we also understand is that it's not just for kids.
However, in 2015, on January 9th, President Barack Obama announced his plan to allow 2 years of free community college for all American students. However, with Republicans in control of both the House and Senate, there seems little hope that this proposal will be implemented anytime soon.
All kinds of education reform. But what I'm also going to do is announce a proposal that I'm going to be making to make sure that community college is accessible for everybody. Put simply, what I'd like to do is to see the first 2 years of community college free for everybody who's willing to work for it. That's right, free for everybody who's willing to work for it. It's something that we can accomplish, and it's something that'll train our workforce so that we can compete with anybody in the world.
So now you're all caught up, but we still have a bunch of questions that leave things a little dark.
Hello? How do I do this?
It's in the back.
Oh, I see where it is.
Why does it have to make so much noise?
And there's nothing on the screen.
Doesn't look anything like what we have now.
Apps, games, websites, everything. But this thing right here has nothing.
Go ahead and try to do something on the computer.
Nothing's happening.
Microsoft Internet Explorer came with our computer.
Don't use Internet Explorer.
Netscape Navigator.
Well, apparently that went out of business.
That's simple. It means to transfer a file of information from a main computer or server to your computer.
So that's how you get connected to the internet.
How long
And the
is
search
this?
engines will
How
show us all the
long?
millions- I need to do a school project on ancient Egypt.
What
Do you
kid
have
looks up
anything on it
Egypt?
under countries?
Let's see. First we check around the world.
Oy.
Next countries, and there it is. Egypt.
I can't believe how easy it is to surf the net.
Hey Siri,
Hey,
could you look up 62 divided by 3.59?
it looks like the answer is 17.2702.
Cool, thanks. And, how do you properly use a semicolon?
I live to serve.
I still want to know how to use a semicolon.
I'm not sure I understand.
Teach me how to use a semicolon.
Let me think. Okay, I found this on the web for Teach Me How to Use a Semicolon.
Great, now is that hard? Lol.
Let me think.
Hush.
Here is what I found.
Shh.
Now.
Hey.
Hi.
I was fortunate enough to convince my friend Kenza, who lives in Norway, to have an interview with me at about 1 in the morning. Well, more like 6 in the morning her time. When it comes to the way we communicate, it's obvious the internet has made some major changes. Email became the new snail mail, Facebook has obliterated a lot of social necessities like calling and wishing somebody a happy birthday. We even find jobs and living situations on LinkedIn or Craigslist. There is a virtual cult of concision with little interest in capitalization or punctuation, as well as a proclivity for visual representation, like memes. However, just as other languages are given the freedom to develop its own conventions of grammar, so should virtual communication be treated. Internet speak is firmly implanted in language now, and as we continue to live our lives online, new expressions and words will only naturally continue to develop. We adjust the way we use words based on what we do and see, even if what we see so often is the white glow of a computer screen or TV. Take LOLs, laugh out loud, and its semantic shift. Its original humorous connotations becoming toned down or disappearing completely. LOL is now a way to flag that a message is meant to be funny, similar to JK or just kidding. To signal irony, LOL can be a way to acknowledge that a writer has received a text, a written version of a nod of the head or a smile. Expressions changing their faculty to fit speech, we are seeing internet expressions being used as pragmatic particles, the real, tangible information passed between people similar to nods or smiles about the tone of context. LOL is a marker of empathy, a marker of accommodation, similar to yo or ni in Japanese. These pragmatic particles are a sign of sophistication in language, not devolution. It's a tool, a toy, a fast computer making slow thinkers, or the most connective generation in history. It's a crutch, it's a weapon, but the most important question is what are you going to do when the Psi Library goes away?